hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you loud and clear. You look.
Okay, I think you can see my picture, and I think you can listen to my voice also.
Yes, sir. So
Right.
I stand in front of you all to present the summing up of the proceedings of the 5th National Conference on Traffic Technology, and also a 5-minute interlude insofar as the feedback that has been provided by you to us, so as to make such programs in the future little better. So I take this opportunity to extend our sincere gratitude and appreciation for all of you for your invaluable contribution during the last 2 days. I trust that the deliberations for the past 2 days have been very, very fruitful. In fact, I do not know about you, but insofar as I am concerned, I was sitting somewhere amongst you and listening, and each participant, each speaker here had some very, very relevant points for all of us. What is very interesting is that the bouquet of speakers in front of you were not police officers only, were not NGOs only, were not practicing doctors only, but they were mixed, and each one of us had something to say. I mean, madam, I must take this opportunity to say, I mean, I'm amazed by the fact that a person having only a neck femur fracture can die because of mishandling by us. You portrayed that example. I trust a lot has to be done. We spoke about the Tamil Nadu model. One part of it is excellent insofar as infrastructure, insofar as removal of the victim from the accident spot to the nearest trauma center is concerned is very good. But where it failed, you very clearly put it across that it failed because the trauma care experts were actually not experts. So together, I guess we have to work together and achieve the Sustainable Goal 3.6 as envisaged by the United Nations. The program was inaugurated yesterday by Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, Honorable Minister for MOT. The first presentation was given on active traffic calming measures for road safety by Dr. Siddharth Rokade, Manit. उसके ऊपर बहुत लड़ाई झगड़ा हुआ. So we as police officials have a different take on it, but academics have a different take on it. He covered necessity of traffic calming, active and passive traffic calming, the power model for speed and safety, and various traffic calming devices. The recommendations are that there should be a systematic method for training and awareness of road construction companies and agencies on instructions of IRA on road designing and construction to avoid accidents due to traffic calming devices. And very good point from my good friend Lali here. मैं चश्मा नहीं पहना हूँ. So Lali said that he tried to find out by RTI applications that on one particular stretch of road, who has created these traffic calming devices. The unfortunate thing is, no one could answer him. The second presentation was given on road safety training for police personnel, perspectives by Ms. Neha Kullar, Director Projects Muskan, Jaipur. She talked about the work done by Muskan, and she spoke about the capacity building for police personnel. She explained that one of the actual problems is that our enforcement agencies are facing is that they are not aware about the legal instruments available to them. I agree with you, ma'am, and we need to build capacity into it. Recommendations: 5% of highways account for 61% of road deaths in India. We need to work hard on creating awareness and capacity building of police officers of all ranks in traffic management and investigation. The third presentation was given on Community Participatory Road Safety Program, an innovative approach towards road safety by Shri Subhash Chandra Nigam, Managing Partner, Infrastructure Development Consultants. He said that road safety issues cannot be addressed through isolated interventions along segments of road without considering the relationships with other links or through specific interventions like enforcement, road engineering, or trauma care, all done in isolation to each other. Extremely valid point. He explained community participatory program, its components, approach, and how it regulates into systematic reduction in road accidents. Recommendations: high-risk road network should be identified and optimal combination of multi-sectoral interventions should be taken based on reliable accident data. Wonderful recommendation. Next theme was road safety interventions and enforcement, the use of data for road safety interventions. The session was chaired by Professor Dr. Geetam Tiwari, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. She explained about the evidence-based enforcement system theory, how injury can be defined as a disease that results from an acute exposure of the human body, transfer of energy from the environment. शिफाली आवाज कम कर दो, इको कर रहा है. Recommendations made were enforcement of law by integrating 4 fundamental principles of policing, increase of visibility of enforcement, repetition of enforcement campaigns, strict and consistent enforcement, well-publicized enforcement. The second presentation was on evolution of motor vehicle legislation in India and latest provisions for road safety and traffic management by Dr. Navdeep Asija, Traffic Advisor, Government of Punjab. He explained the historical perspective of motor vehicle legislations of the world as well as of India, and he recommended the central government may develop a national transport policy. And next, the difference in road signages of North and South government should done away with. The next presentation was on use of technology and in enforcement and investigation by Shri Saurabh Kabra, AGM Vehan Technologies, Noida. He gave a presentation on various technologies available for effective traffic management, accident reporting system, vehicle tracking, and enforcement of e-challan mechanism. A research paper was presented, application of safe systems approach using crash data analysis, case study of Himachal Pradesh by Shawan Aziz, TRL Professional and Software Services India, New Shimla, Himachal Pradesh. He explained how application of crash data in safe systems approach is used to used for efficiency in police enforcement and deployment, identifying black spots, location-specific emergency response preparedness, and its benefit to society. The next theme was prevention through education, zero fatality, and emergency response. Mission Zero Death, Post-Accident Trauma Management to Save a Life by Dr. Rita Savla, Founder and Director, Radhi Disaster and Education Foundation. Her recommendations were classroom training of Good Samaritan, ambulance drivers, doctors, nurses, and hospital staff should be conducted for at least 3 hours for 2 days. She also recommended that health department or trauma management to be part of this type of conferences. थोड़ा और लंबा भी करना पड़ेगा. Okay. इसको करेक्ट करना है धर्मेंद्र. This is insufficient. The second presentation was on emergency care response and road crashes in India by Shri Rahul Prakash Singh, Regional Program Coordinator, Save Life. Recommendations were one universal access number all through the country, improved ambulance response, and early advanced care hospital-based. The second presentation was given by Anil Amar of Sane Driving Delhi on self-directed civic safe and responsible behaviors at the traffic light. Recommendations are development of self-directed behavior through awareness programs for students and citizens. Dr. Vijay Kovali of TRIP Center, IIT Delhi, gave a presentation next on advanced traffic signal systems. This was a case study done by Shri Deepak Bali, Project Director, LN Malviya Infra Projects Private Limited, in which he explained introduction, methodology stages, and construction of RSAs. The third presentation on operator's perspective on road safety was by Shri Vijay Shankar, ex-director car and bus operators. Spoke about elevated skywalkers throughout the city, removal of road hawkers from the platform, regularization of share autos is needed with strict rules and regulations. Road parking can be avoided by creating parking facility in the newly constructed building. Call taxi pickup point should be enforced by government inside every commercial building for increased mobility and passenger convenience, and focus on 3 E's: education, engineering, and enforcement. Countermeasures for road safety was by Bhushan Gulabrao Borse, Deputy Director of National Police Academy. He explained what works in West, myths and realities, taking assistance of other departments, good practices in India, and recommendations was use of reflective barriers, removal of vegetation at road junctions, besides many others that you. I heard you. Then a fantastic research paper was presented by Akhil Patel in conjunction with lead researchers Suraj Verma and Abhishek Tiwari. Suraj is SP in Nimach and Abhishek is SP in Ratlam. They couldn't come because of preparations for Holi. They explained, Akhil explained about the intelligent vehicle identification system with passive RFID tag readers, security registration plates, its uses and benefits, and how it will help in investigation of road accidents more efficiently. The last presentation was an operator's perspective on road safety by Mr. A. Afzal, General Secretary, Bus and Car Operators Confederation of India, New Delhi. The detailed conference report with the discussions and the recommendations will be shared with not only the state police organizations, but also with BPR&D and the Ministry of Home Affairs, and also MORTH. I'll take some time, a couple of minutes, to discuss about the the conference evaluation. 86% of you say that it was an excellent, you have rated this national conference as excellent, 14% say very good. Accommodation, 80% say excellent, 18% say very good, 2% say good. Transportation, 82% excellent, 15% very good, 3% good, with caveat for one officer. I have already regretted for that. Meals, 49% excellent, 47% very good, and 4% good, which means that we have to look into the meals. The topics and their fruitfulness as per the objective of the conference, 60% say they were very fruitful, 36% say to a great extent, and 4% to say some extent. Insofar as duration, 2 days, 81% say it was enough, 17% say short, 2% say too short. What you like most about the national conference? There are so many points, but I can glance through them and speak a couple of them. The conference had participants not only from police, but also from fields who are equal stakeholders on the subject of road safety. This made the conference more meaningful. People sharing their views and technical aspects, engagement from every part of the country, variety and exposure, expert opinion and presentation by experts about new technology and equipment, excellent approach and outstanding faculty members. Thank you, faculty. Recommendations to improve the next conference, at least 3 days should have been there. To bring all related department officials and NGOs for this conference. Conference should be a week long. To include existing best models of traffic regulation in different states. Schedule should strictly be followed. I totally agree with this. Proper arrangements and time allocation for question and answers. We need more time in terms of days because back-to-back sessions lead to overburden. Each session should be given sufficient time in order to have delivery of maximum content. To include traffic-related departments like highway, health, too much topics, 2 days not sufficient. Please include some serving police officers to tell our stories, aspects. It seems one-side presentation participants should be given proper time to share their experience and the real problems faced by the officers, and suggestions should be invited. More time be made available for interaction. Suggested topics for next conference: investigation of traffic offences, implications of engineering to administer in traffic and road safety, call government medical officers, recent advancements in designing of road elements. There should be a topic on hill driving, especially on high altitude like Ladakh. More regarding medical emergency and faulty construction, rules and regulations regarding road safety, new amendments, etc. Legal support of diseased injured family, MSCT claims discussion. So a team would sit on these suggestive topics, and based on that, we will certainly plan our next conference like this. But I also feel at this juncture that because we have a wide variety of audience here, participants here, why don't we start as a common group here, and based on whatever ideas we have, whatever experience we have, and whatever troubles that we have faced, we can come together and sit together in smaller group, maybe about 5, 7, 10, smaller group, discuss and decide on the agenda for the next conference. I personally feel that the onus of organizing this program was on Dharmen and earlier on Anshuman. But of course, we are limited by whatever experiences we have. But for example, Mr. Singh is here. He has a tremendous amount of experience he has in Delhi police. Maybe Siddharth Ropde Sahab. I mean, you should volunteer and come up and create a group which decides on the topics that have been not only submitted here in your feedback, but also based upon your experience, come up with something new. And I'll also request, sir, that we continuously seek your guidance, and it would be appropriate for me to ask you at this juncture to steer this agenda for the next conference, so that whatever learning, whatever dent that we wish to make by organizing this conference percolates to all stakeholders. With those words, thank you so very much for patiently listening to me and also patiently bearing with us for the past 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Before inviting the keynote address of today's chief guest, I would like to introduce him, Sri T. Krishna Prasad, sir, IPS retired, is an Indian police officer of 1986 batch. He is former Director General of Police and Chairman of Road Safety Authority of Telangana State. He previously served as the Additional Director General of Railways, Road Safety and Road Safety after the formation of Telangana State. Sir is an NIT Warangal and IIM Ahmedabad alumni and authored the book Trafficking in Persons, Tip of the Iceberg. He is an avid traveler, writer, and birdwatcher, a philanthropist and social thought leader, now leading through Krishna Prasad Foundation and Malupu organization. Sir is making impactful strides to include rural education, healthcare, and infrastructure, girl-child education, and bringing futuristic innovations to the Indian infrastructure and IT landscape. Now leading efforts to increase CSR and link resources to communities that need them through Krishna Prasad Foundation. He is amplifying opportunities through Maluku organization for downtrodden communities. May I now request, sir, to please address with your keynote address, sir.
A very good afternoon, all the participants, and my profuse thanks to Central Academy of for Police Training, Bhopal, and Mr. Balaji Srivastav, DG BPR&D, Mr. Pawan Srivastav, Director CAPT Bhopal, for thinking of me to participate in this seminar and share my thought process with you. I just now heard the assessment report of this fifth National Conference on Traffic Technologies. And I'm thoroughly impressed with what various esteemed speakers spoke, and particularly the recommendations that they made. They are superlative and excellent. And I'm very keen to interact with them on a one-to-one basis. I will take the contact details and I'll talk to them. I find that quite a few points which I wanted to say have already been covered in the earlier presentations. Nevertheless, I will accentuate them once again, just to show that how important they are, and then we cannot push them under the carpet. While saying that, though, I was told to prepare more on the technology for enforcement, and I have about 11 slides to talk about technology and overall approach. But my approach has been continuously, because I have also submitted the National Road Safety Plan to BPR&D, which has been submitted to MHA and MOTH. And as per the National Road Safety Plan, I was talking on the larger scale and bigger canvas, where I was telling that there has to be a integrated approach, and not particularly because in India we have a division of work between the federal government and the state governments. And when it comes to national road safety, each state government itself has got as many as 13 departments. So the multi-stakeholder departments makes it much more difficult and challenging to achieve the common goal. And we all understand that each person, each officer brings a lot of enthusiasm and spirit in investing or doing something what he wants to do. But when it comes to the teamwork, again, there are certain challenges, and we have seen this through and through in all our career. So this is one point. I don't want to mince any words here. There is a sheer lack of coordination between the multi-stakeholder departments in the states. And there's not one department or two departments, there are 12 departments. So therefore, what I recommended in the National Road Safety Plan is three broad things. One is the policy framework. Under the policy framework, I said it is essential and necessary for every state to have a road safety bill or act passed. The second thing is there should be an institutional framework. The institutional framework means that there should be a road safety authority, which is a very powerful authority, not a rubber stamp authority. So when we talk about the the road safety authority, the state road safety authority, just on the lines of the National Road Safety Board that is mentioned in the Motor Vehicle Act 2019, the state road safety authority should be a dedicated authority, a full-time authority, not a combination of officers who come once in 3 months for a meeting without knowing what was discussed in the last meeting and what is going to be discussed in the next meeting. So a full time with a permanent office and a 3-year or a 5-year term for the chairman and the members, and very sweeping powers. And very, very important thing is what I recommended in the NRSP is a sizable and adequate road safety fund, perhaps about 250, 300 crores in each state, so that the road safety authority, the chairman, can act on the road safety fund. So that is the larger picture. So let me quickly take back to the slides which I prepared. So ladies and gentlemen, we are now talking about a situation. Road safety is simply, many people talk about very small things and they think they are masters of road safety. When we are talking about road safety, please understand that we are talking about a loss of 150,000 human lives every year, year after year, without fail, and nearly 400,000 people being incapacitated or injured. When this is translated, unfortunately, when we talk about human lives, somehow it doesn't get registered very seriously in our minds. But believe me, 150,000 lives is too much, too big a loss to the country. And particularly when 72% of them are in the age group of 15 years to 45 years, which is the productive year. And we are talking, and we are very, very proud as a country. And we keep talking about the demographic dividend. So imagine so much, 72% of the total casualties or the fatalities in road safety are pertaining to the very demographic dividend which you are proud of. You're losing that. And when you convert all these things into economic terms, we are losing 3% of the GDP every year. So we're talking about something which is a very, very high magnitude. The scale is too huge. It's very, very huge. 3% GDP is big for any country. We are talking about going towards a 5 trillion economy. And 3% GDP, we just can't afford this kind of a colossal loss to the nation. So this becomes a much more bigger exercise than simple, doing some enforcement. But we are talking about 10,000 crores of rupees being saved that is what we are losing every year. So therefore, it has to be a holistic approach. It should not be an approach in silos. It should be an integrated approach. And already, as you have mentioned, that the United Nations SDG goal 3.6 is talking about it. The Brasilia Declaration talked about 50% reduction by 2020. Since we didn't do it as a country, as a globe, as a planet, then we again started talking about it in the Moscow Declaration. So repeatedly, again and again, it is coming back onto the UN platter, a very, very serious note that what we have done, what we are doing is just not adequate. We need to do more. So I will shift to my slides. Can I have the slides, please? Are you showing? Okay, thank you. Yeah. Right, next slide, please. I think it's been discussed and talked repeatedly that the speed is one of the major and the most important causative factors. There are other factors, but I would like to concentrate more on the speed because given the IPC sections and how we issue FIR and investigate, we do not have clear sections in IPC to pinpoint and say what is the causative factor. But as of, even if you try to keep the Indian data on road safety aside for a moment, and if you look at the global data also says that the speed is the biggest killer. And a lot of experiments and surveys and research has shown that reduction of 5% in the speed limit anywhere will result or has resulted in reduction of fatalities by 30%. So that is one statement which tells everything. So speed is the killer. We have to work on how to reduce the speed of the vehicles. You may argue people who have big vehicles, BMWs, Mercedes Benz, they may argue, I have bought this vehicle for 2 crores, 3 crores. What do you mean by, why are you asking me to drive at 30 kilometers per hour when my vehicle can go at 200 kilometers per hour? Somebody may say, sir, what are you talking about? National Highway Authority of India is constructing highways whose engineering design permits you to travel at 140 kilometers per hour, and you're restricting us to travel at 80 kilometers per hour. Yes, we are restricting. We want to restrict you because you are killing people, you are killing Indians. There has to be a limit to all these things. So I come from the side or a perspective that speed is the killer and we need to control the speed. Next slide, please. And as I have already told you that, it's a multi-departmental, multi-stakeholder approach. That is what is badly required. And you have police, R&Bs, roads and buildings, and transport, medical and health. I have not put the other departments, but there are as many as 12 to 13 departments in each state which have to talk to each other. Are they talking to each other? Yes, there are committees, state committees, road safety, district committees, state committees. How often they meet? Are the people the same who have attended that meeting the earlier meeting and this meeting? Do they know what are the minutes? Did they implement anything from the last minutes? Please check in your own states. You will find the answer. Many a time I have attended meetings where somebody comes from the department and says, sir, I'm sorry. I am the senior assistant or section officer of that from my department. I was going down in my lift. Somebody gave this file and asked me to attend this meeting. So what happened in the last meeting, sir? I'm sorry, sir, I don't know. Did you do what your department was supposed to? So sorry, sir, I just don't know anything. If you want, you beat me, but I can't answer your questions. This is a standard thing that happens in the road safety committee meetings. So there is an absence of coordination. We need to pull up our socks and do something for the multi-departmental approach. How do we bring them all together under one roof? And as I was telling you, when I talked about the policy, the Road Safety Act, do we have the Road Safety Act in the state? Do we have the Road Safety Authority, which is dedicated and permanent and full-time, not that which meets periodically once in 3 months or 6 months? Then is there a road safety fund? And is there a dedicated road safety police? Dedicated full-time road safety police. This is the need of the hour. Next slide, please. Now, we have conducted, I have conducted a couple of projects here in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. One is the General Insurance Council project and second is the World Bank funded project. Both are suggesting that if you do a multi-sectoral approach or multi-departmental approach, there are positive results. Both the accidents and the fatalities come down. The first core of departments I've put as police enforcement, that is police department, and the medical and health department, and then the engineering department to fix your black spots and do the furniture and correction of the engineering defects in the roads. So this is the first core of departments, which I think we have no option, but they have to work together. And I promise you that you will find fantastic results if you can bring just 3 departments under one umbrella. The second core is the transport department, education department, and NGOs. We need to work with the NGOs. We can't keep them out. We have to empower the NGOs in the country. Next slide, please. So the existing future and the future challenges. What are the existing challenges and what are the challenges that are going to crop up? The existing challenges, as I told you, we do not have a dedicated enforcement department for road safety. There is no dedicated highway patrolling agency. And I already mentioned about the lack of coordination, and all in the middle of vehicle population growing at 11% CAGR. This is established. In India, the vehicle population is growing at 11%. And National Highway Authority of India, probably you must have seen in so many places what they claimed. Yes, they're adding 29 kilometers of highways every day. And I'm not adding state highways and MDR to this. If you add that, probably this will become double. I don't know. So that basically means that India is adding 60 kilometers of roads every day. So if your population is growing, vehicle population is growing, and the roads are being added, more and more people are coming onto the roads. And if there is no responsible driving, responsible road user behavior, accidents are bound to happen. And with the faster vehicles and smoother roads and nice roads, the heavy vehicles, and as and when an impact takes place, if the impact is high, the mass into velocity is high, then the damage, the collateral damage is going to be very, very high. So what we are leading to is a situation, not only the accidents are likely to increase, not only the fatalities are likely to increase, but what we have seen around as a nation, around 2016, as a nation, we have seen the accident severity, that is number of fatalities per 100 accidents, was less than 30. It was at 28.8. Today it has already gone to 36. So 36 people are dying in every 100 accidents, means in every 3 accidents, 1 person is dying. I thought we should go reverse. I thought we should reduce from 28% towards 20%, and we should never cross the threshold of 30%. But we have crossed the threshold of 30%. Though in the lockdown period, of course, you have seen there's a dip in everything, but the moment the lockdown is over, the curve started rising up very fast. So I'm sorry, but today the severity rate is 36%. 36 people are dying in every 100 accidents today in India. And the police, as an enforcement agency, as a first responder, what is the budget that is available to the police? These are the challenges. This is the future. This is going to be a future challenge also. Who is going to give budget to the police? What is the road safety fund to the police? Is it an allocated budget or not? Though we have been debating about road safety enforcement for more than a decade, how many states have given a budget which is tabled in the assembly, discussed in the assembly, and allotted as a budget to police department? If you know somebody, please let me know. I think Karnataka has given twice 50 crores, 100 crores, and 50 crores as a road safety fund, and Tamil Nadu, the DGP was also given fund. In what about other states? So these are the challenges what we need to keep in mind when we are talking about the road safety. Next slide, please. So my proposal is like this. I strongly feel, and I have recommended very, very strongly in the National Road Safety Plan also, that there should be a separate and dedicated department of road safety. I can withdraw the word traffic here. So because every time we use the word traffic, our minds go in a different direction. We have talked about traffic adequately in this country. We should now talk about only road safety. In addition to traffic, there is a separate traffic wing, traffic department. They are doing fantastic job. But Now we need to talk about a separate and dedicated road safety department, which should be headed by a senior officer who will be the head of the department. The significance of the head of the department is he has a budget for his own, and there should be a road safety fund. So this road safety department should get the road safety fund, and the 50% of the compounding fee which was collected in the previous year should be given back to this department as a road safety fund. This is my proposal. Then there should be a commissioner of road safety who is actually in the field level activities, field operations. There should be state-of-art road safety equipment and gadgets. I am not going to repeat what are those gadgets. Probably you discussed in the last 2 days seminar. And just as we are talking about a separate and dedicated department of road safety at the state headquarters, headed by a DGP or additional DGP, we should also have a separate wing in each district. So vertically, you're talking about some organization which is starting from the state police headquarters and going right up to the district SP or the district as a unit and goes right up to the police station level. This is what we need to do for the simple reason, as I told you, we are losing 150,000 human lives every year. And if you please compare this with the natural calamities in the country, you please put the figure of the total number of human lives lost in this country due to natural calamities. Is it higher than 150,000 or lower than 150,000? I rest assure you, I don't have the figures right now. It is less than 50,000 on an average. And similarly, if you're talking about compare the fatalities in the road accidents of 150,000 approximately per annum. And if you take the total volume of the deaths in the country under the head of murder or murder for gain, again, please compare, it is nowhere near 100,000. So when you're talking about the total fatalities of 150,000 in this country is much, much larger than the murder crime head of law and order. It is much, much, much larger than the total losses that are happening in the fatalities. But are we paying the attention that is required for this kind of a problem? I think we are not. Next slide, please. We also need to orient the police organization. What we need to talk about is zero tolerance enforcement. This is very, very important. We should, whenever there is a road safety violation, particularly when I started my address by talking about the speed, no vehicle in the country, when it is over speeding, should go unnoticed. It should be challaned. There should be zero tolerance. I will not talk about other violations. I'm talking about the big violations. The big violations are basically the speed and the overloading or drunken driving or not wearing the safety gear, helmet or the seat belt. So only about 5-6 things, I'm talking about only 5 or 6 causative factors. For these causative factors, which can be scientifically recorded by the surveillance cameras, there is no, it's an objective measure enforcement. It is not a subjective enforcement. There is no human intervention. So where these things can be done, I think we should have zero tolerance. Just as what is there in United States of America, or when you go to some other country, you will find the entire family when they're going in a car, they become one. Children are looking here and there and saying, Dad, there's a cop there. Don't overspeed. Mom or whoever is a driver, the other person is saying, why are you driving overspeeding? Be cautious. It is a discussion in the car. It's a discussion in the family. What happens when we go out with the family in India on a vacation? Are we encouraged to overspeed, or are we cautioned not to overspeed? So these are the things that we need to think as a culture. How do you spread this culture? So zero tolerance enforcement and education both have to go together. Then we need to have, as far as equipment is concerned, I'm sorry to say the police is absolutely underprepared. They don't have the right kind of equipment, both quality and quantity. How many speed guns are there in your state? Different types of speed guns to measure the speed. I think we should, as a country, we should have hundreds of speed guns. How many breath analyzers? We should have thousands of breath analyzers. Then overloading under the Motor Vehicle Act in several states, I think almost entire country, the sub-inspectors of police do not have powers to book the overloading. Where are the weighbridges? Who is measuring the overloading? Who is challaning them? The Act says motor vehicle inspector. Where is he doing? How many is he doing? There is a very, very serious lack on overloading because there are 4 types of overloading. Nobody is looking into it, and they are causing a lot of fatalities. Then my favorite topic, I start when I was IG computers in Andhra Pradesh. We started this e-challan system. As a concept, it works very well. I'm a great fan of non-contact enforcement. So we should go towards 100% e-challan system, meaning lesser human intervention and more machine intervention. Well, then we can also start doing the artificial intelligence. We should have IT-enabled enforcement, more and more of IT-enabled enforcement. And there is a debate, of course, that in India, there has to be visible policing also, not only in India, everywhere in the world. There has to be visible policing also. Mere technology or IT or e-challan cannot substitute or replace the entire police establishment or police visible policing. So we should have a very nice combination of IT-enabled enforcement and visible enforcement. And I think we should start spending more time on IT-enabled enforcement. Next slide, please. So in the new technology, what we are talking about, the control rooms. The control rooms should be state-of-the-art control room, A. B, they should be integrated. Integrated meaning who will sit in the control room? Not police alone, sorry. As I told you, the 3 core departments of police, the engineering and the medical, all 3 should sit in this control room. All 3 should have respectable places and officers, documentation in the same control room. We should stop working in silos. That's a bad approach. We should come together. And there should be integrated state-of-art road safety control rooms in every district. And the central server in the state headquarters and the district headquarters in a hub and spoke method. The linking should be there on a real-time basis. I was talking about the e-challan system, that e-challan system, which is working on an isolated basis in some states, should now be integrated for the entire country. So there's a challenge there. How do you make the databases of the Vahan and the RTAs talk? Are they talking today? They're not talking today. How do you make a vehicle belonging to state P or H when it is crossing through a state M to go to another state K and commits a violation or accidents in state M somewhere in the middle? How do you collect the e-challan amount or the final penal amount for the vehicle which is actually originating from some other state? Will they respect your law? Will they pay? Right now, it is not happening. In the e-challan system that is being practiced or implemented in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, among the local vehicles, 40% of the fine or penal amount is paid by themselves. And since it is only 40% and police gets challenged, he says, no, why only 40%? It should be more. and they do a drive, literally going to their houses and talking to them on phone, stopping their vehicles here and there, and naming and shaming, all kinds of strategies are adopted, and that 40% goes max to 65%. The vehicles which are originating from some other state, they care two hoots. अरे हमको क्या करना है, हम तो दूसरे स्टेट में हैं, वो स्टेट में क्यों पे करना है, कौन आएगा हमको पकड़ने के लिए. So there is a very low payment from a vehicle originating from some other state. So these are the challenges of the e-challan system. So how do we make it work better? How do you improve the efficiency of the e-challan system? That is, answer is first, A, make it integrated. 2, make the databases stock. 3, have a mechanism so that the payment of the penal system or the penal clauses is going towards 100%. And 4, very, very important. How do you suspend or cancel the driving licenses on accumulation of the penal points? We have done a lot in Telangana. There is a lack of coordination between the police department and transport department. Police department is always complaining that if we send 100 cases of suspension of license, driving license, or cancellation of driving license, we see only 20 to 25 of them actually happening. So remaining are not happening. So there is a lack of coordination. Of course, every department has its own reason to say something or the other, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Is it happening? A person who has committed so many offenses, repeated offender, and he has been killing people. Why we are not efficient enough, effective enough in cancelling or suspending the license? So this is one answer I'm not still able to find. So that is all about the integrated e-challan system. Then all the non-contact enforcement should be PDA based, 100%. Should not be a contact enforcement. Every police officer on the national highway or on the road safety duty or the traffic duty should be having a PDA, and all enforcement should be a PDA, which is talking on a real-time basis with the central server. Then if you look at the US style highway patrolling, we have the patrolling vehicles. They have specialized equipment, guns, breath analyzers, everything. Then there are interceptor vehicles at the state borders to intercept a vehicle which is committing a serious offense and going. Next slide, please. So this slide is very simple. What I'm trying to tell you is about 5% of the highways, 2% of national highways, 3% of the state highways. Together, the highways in this country are only 5%, but they are causing about 54% of the total number of accidents. Imagine, just 5% of the road length are witnessing 54% of the total crashes of this country, which is resulting in 61% of the total fatalities. So please have no doubt, kindly do not have any doubt that the majority of the fatalities are happening on the highway, 61%. And when we talk about the road safety, etc., somehow we again get back to the urban and city atmosphere and keep talking about what I did and what you did in the city. I'm sorry, more than 60% of the fatalities are actually taking place on the highways. What are we doing about it? Do we have a dedicated enforcement police on the highways? What is your density of surveillance cameras on the highways? How much money, how many cases have you booked on the highways? What is the percentage collection? How many driving licenses have you suspended, cancelled on the highways? Do we have answers to this? So we are not playing the right game. We are in a wrong game altogether. Next slide, please. I will not repeat this. You know all the use of technologies and the gadgets, etc. A lot have been discussed. Discussion, no action. That is a problem we are having. Next slide, please. Then, as far as our manpower is concerned, I said we should have a dedicated road safety department. And when we are talking about road safety department, this particular manpower, and let me tell you, will be of a totally different class. They'll be highly trained, highly sophisticated, requiring too many skills and too much of talent. So we have to build that manpower, a specialized manpower. They are, to my mind, they're almost like commandos. So they have to be specially trained and dedicated to road safety, should not be taken on deputation and sent back. They should be trained on so many specialized equipment, not only enforcement equipment, but they also should be trained on emergency equipment. They should look totally different, special outfit, uniform to suit the job. They should look, they are nothing wrong if they and their vehicles are looking intimidating. After all, when we go to USA and see cops stopping stopping your vehicle or pulling your vehicle up when you're over speeding, I mean, he looks so larger than life. He's actually intimidating. And that is how we understand what is enforcement. So they should also be trained to drive vehicles on highways and also in different weather conditions and road conditions and ghati roads, etc. in Himachal and Kashmir and etc. And since you are demanding so much from these officers, they should be, and you said they should be trained, so therefore they should be compensated much higher. They should be incentivized with special duty and risk allowances. So this is very important. If you don't do this, there's no point in talking about all these things. So their salary, their compensation should be high, the incentivization with special duty and risk allowances should also be high. So that is a pretty much required. Next slide, please. And I think this is my final slide, and social media as a part of technology. This is one thing which we need to encourage a lot, both the specialized road safety police and the people around the road safety. So what we are talking about is we're creating awareness, and whether it is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp groups, all of them should be firing in full guns. We should have volunteers and road safety armies. We should have club of good Samaritans. The bullet number 3 and bullet number 4 can interact and come together. The district road safety committees should come on WhatsApp groups, and all these volunteers, road safety army, good Samaritans, good district road safety committees, they should all be homogeneous. There should not be hierarchy. They should be flat. So massive use of social media will also involve the local people where the black spots are involved, the villages and the schools and colleges. They also can be involved in the social media. And what you want to tell to the society, and particularly the vulnerable sections, will reach very faster through the social media. So these are the points I thought I will share with you. So to cap it all in just a second, 30 seconds, policy framework, Road Safety Act, institutional framework, Road Safety Authority, dedicated road safety police, dedicated National Highway Road Safety Police, very big road safety fund. This is all I thought I should share with you, and whatever I said, I firmly believe in it. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I can take any questions if you want to shoot any questions. I can't hear your voice. Yeah, I can't hear you. There's some issue on the.
Sir, am I audible now, sir?
इनके नेटवर्क में इशू
Definitely, Sri Krishna Prasad, IPS former DG Telangana, Chief Development Movement, Sri Pawan Srivastava, IPS Director CAPT, Sri Anjumati, IPS PIC, and mostly to Sri Krishna Prasad. Achieved that distinguished part-time ready to get appointed. On behalf of organizers of the 5th National Conference for Drug and Technology, we give you that pleasure over the course of past 2 years, first 2 days, we have had the privilege to listen to some of the most serious minds discussing various things on both safety, rural technology, education, enforcement, traffic management, and automatic prevention to education and knowledge.
Sir.
This conference was truly special and we were honored to have the Union Minister.
Sir, actually, we are in the closing ceremony now.
Sri
Starting from national anthem. So it's
eminent guest, there is the opening ceremony. His
there be some network problem there. Yes, sir.
immediate goal to achieve zero road fatality by the end of the decade left a profound impact on the audience. We must make it better to turn the Hollywood into a reality and this on the ground. We will be glad to have the Balaji Srivastava, IPS, BPR&D. I would like to extend my thanks to the and for it. I expect my personal gratitude to the Chief Minister, IPS, for bringing the validation person as a team led and regulation. That is them has added in next value to this event, and we are very honored to have the opportunity to hear from you. What are the and intangible experience has been a great source of inspiration to all of us. Once again, thank you for sparing your valuable time and making this event even a more special. Further, I would like to express my gratitude towards the Utmal Singh, IPS, DIG, and Vice Chairman for this present at this event. Sir, there is a founding member, founding figure of establishing traffic school in this academy when he was on education. It is because of his effort that we are able to benefit from the training provided at this school today. Thank you, sir, for your investment. Further, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Pawan Srivastava, the director and patron of this academy. His unwavering support and innovative ideas have been crucial in taking this conference ahead. Under his leadership, the academy has always organized events that have been nothing short of extraordinary. Sir, dedication, commitment to the cause are truly inspiring. Once again, I thank you for contribution towards the success of this conference. I would like to thank all the participants who have made this event a great success. It has been a pleasure to have such a diverse group of attendees, including representatives and very senior officers from the state police, government body, NGOs, research scholars, professionals of the educational institution. Your contribution to the discussion and deliberation have been precious, and we appreciate your active participation throughout the conference. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to all the keynote speakers, professors, and panelists who have shared their knowledge and insight and perspectives have helped all to gain a deeper understanding of traffic networking and road safety. Last but not least, I would like to give a big round of applause to the conference secretary, KGMP, for his meticulous planning, coordination, and valuable contribution making this event a great success. Finally, I would like to express my gratitude to the hardworking staff of CAPT for providing flawless second support and ensuring that everything runs smoothly. Your dedication and commitment to your work has been, I think, critical to the success of this conference. With that, thanks to all of you and wishing very best to your future endeavors. Thank you.
Finally. Sir, finally. No.
Who are directly coming from Bhopal, different